my buddies and I would always film a lot of things, just like random stuff. And it was kind of interesting because my senior year of high school, um, they started a media tech class. In that media tech class, I actually took the course because I wanted just to mess around with my friends, not because I was like really interested in video or anything like that. My friend had taken it the semester before me and was like, "You should really join this class. We don't do anything," and I'm like, "Sign me up." San Antonio at Cavender Auto Group. We have 8 locations, 8 dealerships that we service, and I get to work in the marketing department. And my job title is director of content. And so what I get to do on a daily basis is create content for social. I create go-to-market content as well. So like new incentives, new month. We're out shooting like 2 weeks before about like what's the theme going to be, and we're going to create a script. We're going to think that that's kind of cheesy or that's funny. We're going to, the best idea wins, and then just go out and shoot. The toughest thing about I would say my job is to get individuals involved in like a crazy idea. And there's a few guys or gals too that would be like, "That's hilarious," or "Not, that's not for me." But yeah, that's kind of my role. And then of course, like brand identity, making sure that we adhere to, again, like all the OEMs. There's a lot of co-op things that we have to stay within the parameters for co-op purposes. That I also have to like make sure that we're doing that. And then yeah, then the Cavender brand, make sure that we're also adhering to our brand guidelines and what that looks like. Is a few of us, very very few, like my specific director of content, videographer. I will say in the automotive space there are a lot of vendors, like partners that help with what I do. But again, Cavender is very forward thinking and wants to be in front of this. And so they could have contracted anybody to do what I do, but I think again, having somebody in house and having somebody real time that's creating content, it's a big deal. So there are a few of us that I know of. There are different people that I've met online, LinkedIn, or Facebook groups, things like that. But most people that are in this space are more like marketing directors, and they are like content directors. In 2006, I was working with VHS, like small little tapes. I think they were called like mini DV tapes that you would put into a camera, and then you go create your story, and then you would get a USB and then put it onto your computer, and then edit in Final Cut Pro. That's kind of how I learned in college. And so graduating college, it was like 2010. I guess the first DSLR I ever saw was, it was a for photos, and I'm like, wait, this can take video too. And they're like, yeah, they're starting to make cameras that can take video. And that just like rocked my world, just that little piece. And that's when I started realizing, like, if I can purchase this camera, I can do so much with taking photos and taking video. So even that little transition there was huge for me. And then now it's like, I can go literally do storyboard, get the talent, shoot, grab all that, put it on my computer, take out the SD card, put the SD card into the computer, and I have a turnaround time of like an hour, 2 hours, depending upon how fast we're trying to get stuff out. Agile is one. I also think you need to have a lot of fun. Don't be too uptight. I think again for us, when you're a content creator or an artist, I think a lot of times ourselves can get in the way of the purpose of what we're trying to do as a team. And I had to learn that early on. Like, my content that I create it does matter, but at the end of the day, like, I'm going to run the play that helps us drive sales or drive leads. And again, if an iPhone video works better than, a video that I made on my camera, of course, that's frustrating as a content creator. But it is what it is. And, at the end of the day, I want to see people win. So one, yeah, agile. Two, I would say, like, have a lot of fun. Don't be too uptight. And yeah, and don't let your work, get in the way of the overall team of what we're trying to do together. So having people skills, self-awareness is important, especially like in meetings that you might be in. Every personality is different in a dealership. Everyone is different, and you have to know how to work with each individual. So I think that's important as well. So yeah, self-awareness, people skills, be interested in what other people are interested in is always important as well. So yeah, I would say those few things would always help for sure. What we did down the road at a different dealerships may not work at this dealership, and that's the other side of it too. That's tied to like the branding of the specific dealership is, every audience is different. So we could have this grand idea that we think is awesome, and it worked at one store down the road, but it didn't work at this other store. And so that agile piece of it, of knowing like who your audience is very important, because then you have to shift gears and be like, okay, let's tweak that idea a little bit to make it fit and make it make sense for our luxury brands like Cadillac. So it's kind of, yeah, you got to know your audience. You got to know who you're speaking to or who you're trying to speak with. So yeah, there's so many moving parts for sure. Even people that I meet today, I'm like, guys, if you pick up a camera, to me, I love education, but if you don't want to go that route, I mean, there's plenty of people that I know that are in this space, that they're in this space because they picked up a camera and just started shooting and creating content. Be sure you have a portfolio of work. Would be one. If you haven't started your website, or maybe started posting your stuff on Instagram, put your work out there. I think it's important. It's an easy way for one, you to get noticed, two, to proof of concept or proof of work. Yeah, just don't be surprised with the kind of jobs that you can get by being a content creator. Again, I was supposed to be in broadcasting and do sports, news my entire life, and now I'm always mobile. I have a laptop, I have a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, my mics, and we're moving and we're telling stories. I can go to any dealership at any time, and I can start creating. So will say is, I think like for at least us in this specific area at our dealership, is I think all of our owners and all of our executive team and just every dealership understands how important it is to be out creating content. Now I'm in a mature, I guess I've matured in the last couple of years, and I'm like, hey, if you say that this is going to work this way, and I can get behind that, and we're going to again fight for the best idea. But if you think that putting this color on an ad or putting this type of copy on an ad is going to work, then I'm behind you, and I trust you. And at the end of the day, all of us know that we're trying to hit goals, and everyone wins when we hit goals. So yeah. Humanizing the dealership is huge for us. A lot of audiences out there, they know that they have to buy a car from a dealership, but they're so like scared about buying a car from a dealership because I think they're going to be negotiated with, or haggling and all those things, people that have had bad car experiences. And so our role is to try to help humanize, like, man, we care about the customer, we care about you. We're telling stories about our team, telling stories about our customers. And yeah, that's been big for us too, because like I think a lot of times it's like, come on down to whatever dealership, and here it's like we're trying to tell stories about actually helping people. We do, at the end of the day, everyone is trying to tell stories. Every brand is trying to separate themselves. Video's not going anywhere. Photography is not going anywhere. I think like the first month I was in the back with my wife and we're talking, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna retire in automotive. I just think like she's like, wait, I thought you never wanted to do automotive again. I'm like, man, I don't know. I think like my eyes have been open. Like I took this job. My wife and I have been, and our kiddos, we've been really wanting a house for a long time. And because of this opportunity, it changed. Like we were able to get a home. Like that's huge for me. I think that's one thing that I'll be always grateful, like, for the automotive space, is like I can hear countless and countless of stories of how it's changed people's lives. I think for me, what I'm most excited about about automotive is I think like in our marketing department for sure is like we're not going anywhere, and I just know that we're gonna grow. Our big vision in the next 5 years is that we would have a content creator at every store. Um, that so I just think like I'm excited to see like where we would be the hub of where content creators could know like if they want to be in automotive that they're going to come to Cavender to be part of the team and get to do what they want to do, which is create content.